This is your player partner, Mr. J Pack, Mr. JVY, Mr. Yall, to y'all with another episode. Season 5, episode 4. This is the anniversary episode, man. So if y'all can't tell, a few days ago marked 3 years of me having this podcast. And I will say wholeheartedly, I am excited. I am happy for the growth that I've made. And I'm going to just talk with y'all for a bit. So, when I look back at this last 3 years, over the last 3 years, rather, I've noticed that every season marked some type of growth, right? And y'all have heard this spiel before, but I'm going to give you the spiel again. So, the first season, of course, was college advice and talking to the kids in high school, the teenagers in high school, but also those who were in college. And I'm just sharing knowledge of things that I liked, things that I've learned, things that I've understood and grew to understand. And I'm like, okay, not everybody's gonna rock with that. So the second season, I said, you know what? Let me just talk about some things that were interesting to me, songs that spoke to me or grew with me, but also including some friends or maybe 1 or 2 guests so I can have another perspective. Season 3, however, I thought, you know what, if I include more people, whether I knew them from college, whether they were my close, nearest and dearest best friends, I thought that somebody could relate to this conversation or these conversations, because not everybody's an artist, but we're still in that group, or everybody may have that group of people who may be artsy, or this person may be into fashion, or this person may be this or this or that or whatever. All of us have that specific type of group, or a majority of us at that. And then the 4th season was like, you know what, I can include more people, but let me give a splash of more of what I think. Now, at this time of season 4, I was going through the whole thing of growing with you all on TikTok and trying to build more of my social media presence when it came to that. However, I was always focused on trying to put the best shit out. Like, boom, I need this out, I need this out, I need this out. And so when I had that little stint of dropping an episode every Wednesday and Friday, I thought for a fact, yo, this is gonna take my shit to the next level. It's gonna blow me through the roof. What I didn't understand is that I actually needed time to just sit down and really just focus on what would be important to talk about. Because there are a plethora of podcasts out here, of entities, of media moguls, quote unquote, who have this perception of you need to constantly create some shit, you need to constantly do this and do that. Now, I'm not saying don't create something. I'm not saying that at all. I feel like for a lot of us, especially in the artist community, we find different ways of having an inspiration to create. It can be pain, it can be happiness, sadness, anger, despair. You know, we may feel like we're being disloyal, or someone's being disloyal to us, or anything of that. Like, you listen to any R&B song and you get all of those. You listen to any rap song, you may get all of those. Anything with just anything. And so with this season specifically, and I'm referencing the first 3 episodes because, of course, according to colleagues and family members and close people who are to me, I've actually sat back and listened to my first 3 episodes. And honestly, I would go back and tell season 2 Jalil how to plan shit out. Right? 1, that not every person you come in contact with needs to be a guest. 2nd, that having more confidence in your voice and your mindset and your tone, that sets everything apart. And the 3rd thing is to never question anything about your shit. If nobody woke up beside you and told you what to create, what to record, what to talk about, how to get your camera angles and what mics to use, what ring lights to have, what camera to use, any of that, nothing else matters. And so that spoke to me differently this season. And so when we look at these episodes, the first one where I'm just talking about my growth at being 25, that hits me differently. Because of course we've had colleagues and constituents and friends who never made it to our age. You know, we got certain things going on right now where when we're looking at 25, a lot of us who are 25 had the same goal at 17 or 18. My phone just cracked, excuse me. But there were certain things that we looked forward to. I know for me, my goal was to be married at this age, to have an extra big fancy house, to have an amazing paying job, or I can use my art to be my full-time job and not worry about shit. I wanted to get my parents out of their house or pay their house off by 26, go travel the world 80 million times. And there were so many things that I wanted to do at 25. And so when I sat back and understood that I can still get those things done, but I need to pace myself and not work or rush myself to death, because there's no fun in that, right? If there are certain things inside of my control and I can do that, I'm going to do it. But if there are things that I can't control whatsoever, there's no point in me trying to rush that process. So that was the first episode. The second one, where I'm talking about handling L's, I wasn't just speaking to those gentlemen who I think need to take a L of somebody not giving them the quote unquote attention that they deserve. But I was talking to myself, because I was in those shoes of, damn, that girl ain't talk to me, man. Fuck her. Like stuff like that. Everybody has that type of thought at one time, like, oh, I'm not good enough, or fuck it. And whatever. But I was talking to myself, and that was a little bit of an ego check. Because at one point, I was thinking, all right, I'm cool with this woman or this or that, so I deserved it. I feel like in that instance, I don't deserve shit. You gotta work for the things that you want. It's not just gonna be handed to you just because somebody gave you an Instagram handle or a phone number. That does not make them automatically obligated to you. That's what I was getting at, and I had to speak to myself on that. The third episode about Kendrick and black music and black artistry and just blackness in general. And then comparing that to the Roe v. Wade, where the people who don't get it will never get it. They just want something to look at and feel like they're a part of, because they're not at the center or the basis of the conversation. I don't think anything needs to be explained more on that part. But back to the main point. The level of proudness that I have, or pride that I have when it comes to this podcast, is that whenever you look at the name of this podcast, if you know the nickname, you know. If you know the road of this podcast and the journey that I had to take, you know. For those who don't know, I'd rather you go back and listen. I don't want to be a broken record. But I've come to a realization that nobody can do this better than Jalil Pack. Like, nobody can be Jalil Pack better than Jalil Pack. Nobody has the diction that I have, the way that I approach words in conversations. I've been told my whole life I'm an old spirit. My entire life, I'm an old spirit. When I was like 5 or 6, up until maybe 18, I'm still really good at it now. But anytime we had a family function or a cookout, I would want to pray. I don't know why. But that food was good regardless. But I was always told, like, oh, he might be a pastor when he gets older. I don't know. But I have a knack for talking. I have a knack for trying to gravitate towards people in a certain way that they don't feel weird. And all that comes with growth. So when I relate that to this pod, this is my baby. 3 years in, I have no idea. Sometimes I still have no idea what the hell is going on. I didn't expect for people to like this and give me feedback and anything of that sort, because I don't do it for that. Although I ask y'all on Instagram, what do y'all want to hear? But it's because let's see what the people are talking about. Sidebar, but it goes specifically with what I'm talking about right now. I think I was 18 or 19 when I gave up listening to mainstream radio, when I cut out just TV in general. The only time I watch regular TV is if I'm at my parents' crib or my grandma's house, because they're either watching the news, they're watching one of their stories on Netflix or Hulu, they're watching a movie, or we just all there killing time and watching some sports or some shit. But when I saw things like a Love and Hip Hop or Growing Up Hip Hop or Housewives or basketball or whatever, I'm like, damn, some of these are very negative connotations and stereotypes. This is not what I want to look forward to. Same thing with the radio. I could hear Drake's song 40 times in a fucking week, and I got tired of it. Now, although I still listen to that, and I'm still on Apple Music and Spotify and stuff, I like finding underground things. When it comes to TV, I got a Fire Stick, so I'm watching the Hulus or the HBO Maxes or the Netflixes and stuff, because it's like there's more out there besides just some mainstream radio or mainstream TV bullshit. The reason why I would ask y'all, what is it that you want to hear on the pod, is because it's still giving me a window to look into when it comes to what's going on for everyone else on social media and in their aspects and in their worlds and stuff. In what way can I relate to that? Being as somebody who doesn't like a lot of that. Someone who doesn't like clout or extra unwanted attention. Now, granted, that is very weird because I put myself out there a lot. I don't like a lot of unwanted attention. Like, I don't want a notification at 3 o'clock and somebody's, oh, you so damn fine. And it's like, whoa. I appreciate it, but that's just off the rails. I don't like all of that, But if there's one thing that I would say that I'm very proud of when it comes to this, is my confidence on this mic. My confidence on this mic, knowing that I can rock it the way that I do, that makes me prouder than anything else that I've done with this podcast, besides giving y'all some dope ass music to bump at the end of it, or leaving you with just a crumb of knowledge or whatever it is that I do. Because sometimes I just sit here and record. And I just try to talk as much shit as I can, but in the best and effective way possible. It's not to make you listen. I don't want to make you listen to anything that I say. Whether you may feel like I'm impactful, or you may feel like this is some really great conversation, some really good shit that I'm saying. My number one goal isn't trying to make you do anything. I'm not trying to force my words down y'all's throat. I'm not trying to force my opinions or my thoughts or my feelings on you. All I know is that once you click on that logo that says the JVY podcast, whether it be Anchor, Spotify, Podcats, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to this, just know that you're walking into a world where y'all are growing with me. Everyone who has listened to this, whether I know you or not, in somehow, some way, some shape, or some fashion, I hope that you grow with me. All I want for every season is for somebody to pick apart something or take a piece of something that I said and relate it to what it is that they do. I know there's somebody that listens to me ain't never been to college, but when I talk about this is for you, this is what you want to work for, it doesn't matter if it's your mama, your daddy, anybody in your family. If you worked for it and your name is on that piece of paper or that license or this building or this diploma or that paperwork or whatever the hell it is, if you worked for it, that is your shit. You can share it with the people that you love, because everybody who's around you is somehow attached to your goal, to your dreams. It's attached to them because they have a hand in shaping you and molding you to do that. But ultimately, that is your shit. There may be somebody who doesn't want to be an artist, but there is something that they're very passionate about. So when they hear somebody talk about music, somebody may want to be the next best architect out here, the next best engineer, MUA, nurse, practitioner, something along those lines. And so my goal from the very first episode up until forever, honestly, is to give you something that is quality. Just quality podcasting. And I kind of like it being myself sometimes, because I don't expect somebody to help me tell my story or to try to relate to what it is that I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I related to J. Cole, how Cole doesn't have a whole bunch of features on his albums because not everybody can tell his story for him. Right? So no one can tell me or try to mold or shape how I think or how I feel or how I approach a certain topic, because that's how I feel about it. So when y'all listen to these episodes, know that it's nothing but growth. Know that it's some quality. And I don't even know if I've hit 100 episodes. Even if I haven't, whatever number of episodes I have, I've wanted every single one to be impactful in some type of way. So I hope to continue to do that. You know, I want to say some things that people are scared to say, but I also want to say something that just makes you sit back and think, damn, I never thought of it this way. Again, I'm not trying to force anything on anybody. I'm not trying to get people to share it with a whole bunch of people. Although I would love that. Although I ask y'all to do it, I know for a fact that somebody listening is like, no, I just listen to it for me. I don't care about sharing it, whatever. I'm not expecting y'all to. But when you listen to this, I want y'all to know how much energy and how much of my own thought process and me coming out of my box and my square, my circle. I want y'all to think about that. Whether I'm getting judged for an episode, whether you absolutely loved it, whether you absolutely hated it, it does not matter that much to me. I don't care about numbers. I don't care that much about clout. I would love to be verified and sponsored and all of that. I'm speaking that into existence and I'm praying on that now. I got goals that I'm trying to obtain. This is one of my ways of doing it. So those who know me, I appreciate y'all more than you'll ever know. To those who I only met on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, wherever you saw my face and heard my voice. If I don't know you personally, I appreciate y'all more than you ever know. I appreciate my parents for making me into something where I can actually believe in myself. You know, I appreciate my twin sister, who literally is my fucking right hand and will tell me right from wrong and give me some real good advice and keep it a whole 100 with me. I appreciate my boy Sterling Harris for 4 great seasons of capturing what it is that I do. And we're not done, brother. So if you see this, we're not done. You already know what time it is. I just want to mold and perfect my shit first. And although it's not going to be perfect, I still want to get to a point where I know no one can touch me with this. That's partially why I like to stay underground. I want this to be a legendary thing. I don't want to just be a legend, like, oh, the legend of JVY. I don't want it to get to that point, but if it does get to that point, I want people to have the conversations of, that brother was speaking, that young brother, you can tell he enjoyed it because he picked out a certain song. Maybe it didn't have anything to do with the topic, but you felt the type of way when you listened to what he said and you listened to this song. Right. So for for everybody who has shared it, for those who have seen it and scrolled past it, for those who shared it with somebody else and like, what the fuck this man doing? To those who bit off of it. To those who may have been inspired by it, to those who just like hearing my voice, I appreciate it. And to give feedback from people, not on a regular day basis, but usually when I drop the episodes, it's like, oh, we've been waiting on you, bro. We've literally been waiting. And again, my whole thing is quality over quantity. Because I can have 100 different episodes. But if 56 of those are trash, and the other 46 are just immaculate, I got some work to do. I know that every episode is not going to be a hit, but I also know that not every episode is going to be a miss. So as long as I have a good balance of it, and y'all get that balance as well, then my job is done. The job isn't finished. But for that specific episode, whatever I was talking about, the job is done as long as it gets to y'all's ears and pierces you in a certain way. So, with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in as always. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, tell everybody you know about it. Wherever you find the JVY podcast, search it on Google and share it with somebody. You know, and this is again the tip of the iceberg. I don't think I've hit the goals and pinnacles that I wanted to reach. I got the numbers on TikTok and I got almost, I don't know how many, but I got more than 4,000 on Instagram. I just want that to be translated to the pod. So I know there's more work that I have to do, but as long as y'all can share it with somebody and somebody comes across it and just likes it on a certain level and gets it and understands it, then I'm cool. So as always, be safe, easy, and positive. Let's keep doing the things that we gotta do. I'm proud of everybody. Thank y'all for rocking with me and growing with me and tuning in with me. Like that means more than y'all will ever know. Alright, so let's keep doing the shit that we gotta do. I'm gonna see y'all on the flip. And I got another good batch of episodes coming. This is just the beginning. Alright? Stay safe. Yeah.